Hello and welcome back to the channel. I'm Jessica. Today we are going to be making a handmade cutting board. Now this cutting board is going to consist of a couple of things, and the first one is going to be some bamboo flooring. This is a piece of 11 by 14 just bamboo flooring, and it's not been coated with anything yet. That's going to be the last step in today's process that we will be going with. And then the secondary feature for this project that we're doing is a set of handles. Now I am using a pair of hand forged handles that I made, and these are made from copper, and as you will see they've just got a little arc to them and a little finial end here, and these were made out in the blacksmith shop, and they are made from a fairly thick metal, but you could probably use something a little thinner than what I did if you're going for daintier handles. But I forged these out at the anvil, and then I also did some filing to shape. And if you would like to see the full tutorial for this, you can check out the link up above in the cards or also down in the description to see how I made these handles. Now after the handles were forged, there was another step I undertook, and that is the enameling. You'll see that the back side of the handles are just like a penny, kind of like a penny copper color, and then the front side is a light gray with black speckles. And so that was done with the process of enameling. And enameling is a really fun process. It's something that I'm new at, and I'm taking a class to learn. And this was my second class ever that I made the enameling for these handles. So the first step in enameling is to get your copper really clean. And so in our case, we used scrub pads, and we also had done an acid bath for several minutes. And that removed all the scale off of it so that the enamel could stick to the piece. Secondly, the copper is covered with a light misting of an agent called clear fire, which just allows the enamel to stick to the copper piece, and it just holds it in place until it gets fired into the oven. So next, the piece, while it has the sifted enamel on there, it has to dry for a little bit so that it doesn't get bubbles in the finish. So it goes on a drying rack for about 5 minutes, and then it's finally ready to fire the very first coat of enamel. So the object is carefully placed in the kiln and left in for several minutes until the enamel gets a nice glossy look to it, and then it's ready to come out. From there, it has to cool, and then it's ready to be cleaned again, and then additional layers of enamel can be added, and up to as many as you'd like to add. In my case, I added 2 layers of gray, and then I also added a third layer that was just a sprinkling of a black opaque enamel. After I finished enameling my pieces and getting all the layers that I wanted to add onto it, I went ahead and put them in the acid bath one more time to get any last scale off so that it'll just have a nice clean copper look to it. And I'm leaving it raw so that it will age and it will get like a kind of a deep penny look to it, like a dark penny, you know, and that will match my cutting board quite well, I think. So the handles are complete, and now we are ready to go on to the next stage of the process, which is going to be putting them onto the cutting board. So I will start by measuring out the length of my cutting board and putting a mark in the center so that I can have a center line to go by, and try to get my handles centered accordingly for that, and that way they're not off crooked or anything like that. And then I can come along and mark the holes where the screws are going to go. And I'm just going to use a little nail here, like a center punch mark, just so that the screw has a place to grab when I start screwing it in. So the first one will go on pretty easy. The second one will be a little trickier because I won't have a flat surface on the one side to set it against because it'll already have the handle on that end. And now lastly, I'm ready to condition the cutting board. What I'm using here is about 2 tablespoons of coconut oil, and I've just melted it, and that way it'll be real easy to apply. The reason why I didn't use vegetable oil or olive oil is that those can go rancid, so the coconut oil is perfect for this process. I'm just going to use a clean cloth to rub it down heavily onto the cutting board surface, and it's going to be allowed to soak in for several hours before I wipe off the excess, and that's how you can condition a cutting board. So I'm really happy with the results of this cutting board. I really like the way the handles, I was able to get them to match my kitchenware set, and that's perfect. And also, alternatively, you could put handles on the top of a wooden board, and that way you could use it as a tray. That would make a real nice gift as well. If you have any suggestions for future projects that I could make, let me know down in the comments. And again, thank you for watching. I'll catch you on the next one. Bye bye.